I wonder what's in here, in this trash application. Let's see. What do you know? The lady that puts laud and flawed. Celebrating forced sobriety? So, Ryder 58 said, yesterday I celebrated 6 years clean. Life is great and keeps getting better. And Denise said that was forced sobriety, that 3 years in prison will leave you sober, parole will help you maintain it. And the numbers don't say that, though, Denise. I don't know. It seems like you should know this. It was like, I don't know, something that every adult knows. But, of course, a large portion of the U.S. prison population has a history, 80% of illicit drug use. Estimated 65% of the population has an active substance use disorder. Another 20% may not meet the criteria, but were under the influence when they were taken into custody for committing the crime that they committed. Say that to say that I got a little history in this this part of the world. Alcohol Drug Services of Guilford, 1995 board of directors. That right there, Diane Linda Franco, is my mother, the executive director of, basically she was the executive director of substance abuse services for the Triad, which is Greensboro, Winston-Salem, and High Point. And it was based in Guilford County. This plaque is sitting outside of what used to be called Daymark in, and before that it was ADS, but it was called Daymark, and it's in Winston-Salem. I took this picture. I was there. My mother got to work beside one of these four gentlemen here, the Greensboro sit-in. You should be familiar with that. In the 1960s, we had the, civil rights movement took flight mostly in the 60s, and this was part of the catalyst of the civil rights movement when these four black gentlemen sat at the lunch counter in Woolworth's in Greensboro. That lunch counter is featured in it was last time I was there, United States, in the Smithsonian U.S. History Museum. So it was cool to hear. My mom told me the story about working with one of those gentlemen. I forget the guy's name. He was on a board inside Greensboro to help with like underprivileged, underfunded young youth. So here though, this is Ryder's response to her saying this, and he really does put it down. What have you done in any way, Denise, to be a positive influence besides your fake laugh and your fake friendship with D? What is it that you've done to be a positive influence, heifer? Nada, zero, zilch, zip. You are a lard-ass moo-moo wearing. He gives you a year, by the way. You ought to thank him. 59-year-old, over-the-hill, mentally ill lady who thinks it's cool to go on a live stream doing bong hits and talking shit about your betters. I love the use of the word betters in that particular sentence. Denise, boom, poo. Wouldn't appreciate that. So, what we like to do when we're looking at Denise posts is we look for the instant hypocrisy. All right, there are no instant Newports. No one here owns a lake, but there is instant hypocrisy in almost every single time she posts anything. And of course, there's some here. Her bestest little buddy, Dave, he ran a car into a methadone clinic to try to steal, obviously, methadone. And man, I felt bad when I heard about that, because I know that feeling. It isn't because he wanted to get high. It's because he didn't want to be low. He probably just wanted to feel normal so he could go about his day and work like everybody else. Because when you have an addictive brain, those drugs don't do your brain like it does 90% of folks. It tells your brain you're a Superman. Other people, it tells you, go to sleep. You've had too much. But to an addict, it's like, bruh, give me that 40-footer. I'm going to run down the street with this thing. 9/11, I got it. Anyway, you do not get that because you're not an addict. And thank God you're not an addict. You don't understand that. But being in prison won't do a damn thing unless you stand on it. And he did. He did something about it. He's helping the world. And that's not that job that he's got. He's a state certified counselor and going for his certifications for the country So he'll be able to go anywhere and work with addicts. That is a noble profession. He ain't going to get rich doing that, but his heart will be full, and he'll help others. And that's what it's all about. And Denise, to try to point out a man who has taken his life from the doldrums and from the ground and built it back up, to say that something's wrong with him only shows there's something wrong with you. And every fucking thing you post with some sort of negative undertones just tells us this is what's going on in your head. When your friend David posts things about, all the gross shit he posts, I'm not even going to go into there. Same with Randy. You guys, that's all coming out of your heads, not ours. We don't think these things up. You think these things up. Your broken brain, your deep, dark, stupid soul does. 12 people thought this was great. They're always liking your posts where you're trashing on my child or Joanne's child, and then you're talking about, don't be talking about your child on YouTube. I mean, motherfucker, dude, that's who we live with. It's our family. Like, you talk about your fucking dog all the time on Dee's channel. Nobody wants to hear about your goddamn dog that died 2 years ago, but you want to talk about it all the fucking time. Ain't nobody bitching about it. Bitch. So anyway, your buddy suitcased drugs into the jail. David took drugs into the jail. David actually made it harder for people who are in prison or in jail to stay clean because he stuck drugs in his butthole to take into a prison. So let's just keep that in mind before you run around fucking hypocriting yourself and you end up hippo shitting your pants.